Sam was a shadow in the back row. He preferred it that way. High school was a maze he navigated quietly. He wasn't invisible, not exactly, but he wasn't noticed either. He was a C student, average in every way. He blended into the background noise of the school day. He was content with his anonymity. He went unnoticed. He was okay with that. Miss Taylor's classroom became Sam's haven. He found himself drawn to the energy, the discussions, and most of all, to her. He hung on her every word, his heart skipping a beat whenever their eyes met. He pored over the books she assigned, not just for the grades, but for a connection, a shared world with her. He started participating in class, his words stumbling out at first, then flowing more freely. He felt a new confidence rising within him. It wasn't just about the grades anymore, although those were improving too. It was about proving himself, showing her that he wasn't just another face in the crowd. One day after class, he worked up the courage to approach her. He wanted to tell her how much her class meant to him, how she had awakened something within him. But the words caught in his throat. He ended up just thanking her for the lesson. "Sam," she said, her eyes locking onto his, "you have a real gift for writing. Don't ever let that go." Her words struck him like a physical touch. He walked out of the classroom, his heart pounding, his head spinning. Her words, her acknowledgement fueled the fire within him. The line blurred. His admiration for her passion and intellect morphed into something more. He found himself thinking about her outside of class, replaying their interactions in his head, cherishing the moments when she acknowledged him. He started writing poems, pouring his heart out on paper, each word a testament to his unspoken feelings. He knew it was a dangerous path. He was a student, and she was his teacher, but he couldn't help the way he felt. He clung to their shared moments, the way she'd smile at his contributions in class, the way she seemed genuinely interested in his thoughts. His feelings, a mixture of admiration and longing, consumed him. One day, he saw her in the hallway, talking to another teacher. She was laughing, her head thrown back, her joy contagious. Seeing her like that, so carefree and full of life, made him realize the depth of his feelings. It wasn't just about her intelligence or her passion for literature. It was her as a person, her spirit, her very essence that drew him to her. He knew he could never act on these feelings. The thought of jeopardizing her career, her life, was unimaginable. But still, he couldn't help but dream. To imagine a world where things were different. A world where they could be together. He found himself seeking her out more, lingering after class, engaging in conversations about books and life. He felt an inexplicable connection with her, a sense of understanding he hadn't experienced before. He shared his writing with her, his deepest thoughts and fears laid bare on the page. "Sam," she said one day, her eyes full of concern, "you're a bright young man with a lot to offer. Don't let these feelings hold you back." Her words were like a splash of cold water. He realized then that she knew. She had recognized his unspoken feelings. He was mortified, his face burning with shame. He wanted to deny it, to disappear into the background noise of the hallway, but her words, spoken with such kindness and concern, held him captive. He realized then that she cared, not in the way he yearned for, but as a mentor, a guide. Her words haunted him. He couldn't deny the truth in them. He was letting his feelings, his infatuation, hold him back. He was so focused on her that he was neglecting his own life, his own potential. He had to find a way to move on, to separate his admiration from his unrealistic desires. He started to pull back, to create distance. He skipped the after-class conversations, avoided eye contact, and threw himself into his studies. He channeled his emotions into his writing, his words becoming his therapy, his escape. He poured his heartache and longing into poems and stories, finding solace in the written word. He watched her from afar, admiring her dedication to her students, her passion for knowledge. He realized that his feelings, however intense, were based on an idealized image, a fantasy. He had to acknowledge the chasm between his desires and reality. He began to see her as she was, a dedicated teacher who had awakened something within him, who had shown him his potential. He realized that her impact on his life, her influence, was far more profound than any romantic relationship could ever be. He started to understand that sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about possession, but about growth and letting go. He started to notice other things, other people. He reconnected with old friends, explored new interests, and allowed himself to breathe. He realized that the world was a vast and wondrous place, filled with possibilities he had been too blind to see. Years later, long after he had graduated, Sam found himself thinking about Miss Taylor. He realized that her impact on his life had been profound. She had ignited a spark within him, a love for literature, a passion for learning that had stayed with him. He had become a writer, his words touching the lives of others just as she had touched his. He thought about the young man he had been, the awkward teenager with a crush on his English teacher. He smiled, remembering the intensity of his feelings, the pain of unrequited love. He realized that it hadn't been a waste, that his experience had shaped him, taught him valuable lessons about love, loss, and the importance of letting go. He thought about reaching out to her, to thank her for the impact she had had on his life, but then he decided against it. Some stories, he realized, are best left untold. The memories, the lessons learned, were enough. He carried her influence within him, a guiding light, a reminder that sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that teach us the most about ourselves. He realized that sometimes love isn't about possession, but about appreciation, respect, and the indelible mark someone leaves on your soul. He sat down at his desk, his fingers hovering over the keyboard, and began to write. He had a story to tell, a story about a boy, a teacher, and the transformative power of love. He would call it A Different Kind of Love.